Welcome to the Chief's Garage. For those of you who are new to the channel, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe notification button so that you can see my videos in the future. For all of those who've traveled along with me through my Foxbody Chronicles, we're gonna take a look today at how I put the current 306 together that's in the car. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about this engine I have over here in the corner and its future. So when I decided to build this 306, I wanted to still drive the car, so I left the original 1990 original engine in the car and I drove it while I built it. So I went out and I started looking on marketplaces and places, and I found a 1991 roller block, and that's what you'll see in the stills. I'm going to take you through everything that I've done with that 306. Basically, everything about that engine is aftermarket, with the exception of the block and the 1996 Ford Explorer GT40 intake. I'll tell you where I sourced all the parts. I'll try to talk you through some of the areas, and guys, engines are what I do. It was my life for years as a part of the United States Navy. I built engines on a daily basis for years. And at other times I either taught people how to operate them or how to do maintenance on them. So I'm, a master engine builder. I've done that for many, many years. But if it seems that I'm not giving you the information, or there's questions that seem, rudimentary to me, maybe, more complex for someone else, but ask questions in the takeoffs here. I'm going to point to a couple of things of why I did certain things. If you're comfortable with putting an engine together yourself, I'll tell you some of the pitfalls, tell you when you should probably not try to attempt this yourself. There's just many reasons to build on your own and for the sheer pleasure of building your own engine. But at the same time, there are many aftermarket companies where you can buy a reliable engine. There are things, guys, that you have to know about engine building if you want to build something reliable. For me personally, I wanted to put an engine together myself, knowing that all the clearances and that all of the pieces that I chose for it would work together. I was trying to build something that's reliable, but at the same time, it needs to be bulletproof. You need to be able to run it at red line all day and it still hold together. So inside of my 306, I'll explain to you what manufacturers I use. And guys, you don't have to break the bank doing this. You can buy aftermarket parts that are quality, entry-level parts that'll still get you in the 400, 500 horsepower range, and you can operate there from time to time. Most of us do not live in a place where we're going to put our car, unless it's dedicated racing, you're not going to push it to its limits on a daily basis. Save your money, put your money where it's most needed, and put your time in places where it'll be the greatest payoff. We have a saying, in facilities, if it's not, measurable, then you can't manage it. And I would tell you that the biggest piece of any engine building is making sure that you have the right clearances, making sure that, things are clean when you assemble them, and they have to be parts that work together. So stick around, take a look at my stills. I'll explain to you as we go. Videos in the future will all be live, and we'll be talking about going forward things, but this will catch you up to date on the current 306 that's in the car. Take a look. So I sourced my block from a local marketplace on Facebook, where I had a local guy who wanted to get rid of this 1991 block. It was in great condition. I would encourage anyone who's buying a block, at least bring a set of calipers or something with you so that you can check the bores and make sure that it hasn't been overbored already, so you kind of know what you're getting, and validate that it's a good block. I brought it home, looked it over, put it on the engine stand. It appeared to be a usable block, so I went through the task of starting to disassemble. Guys, when you disassemble your engine, look at all the bearings, look for the wear. It'll kind of tell you if you have core shift in the manufacturing. There is millions of these made, so we want to make sure that the block that you're getting is a viable block before you start putting money in it. Any of your machine shops will help you with this. If it's a busy machine shop, it's probably a good one. I purchased the 1996 Ford Explorer intake from another local find, paid $200 for it. Brought it home with the thoughts that I'd, port match it and modify it, because of course you have to do a few mods to these to use them. One of the first things that you're going to have to do to make it look good is to get rid of that ugly bracket that hangs off the side of it. So I brought it home, ground it off, cleaned it all up, deburred it, and went to the next task of drilling and tapping. There's a bore here for the air charge sensor, and if you're going to run EFI, you have to have this. So this is a 38618, so you just bore and tap it there. Also, if you're going to run your coolant spacer for your intake, you're going to have to drill and tap this boss in the back so that you have a place for your coolant to return. Send it out to the machine shop, had it line bored, honed, board 30 over. Everything about this block was gone through to verify that it was a good block, magnafluxed, and the whole works. So they took about 15 thousandths off of the decks on it to clear it all up. I brought it home and went through all of the galleys and got it all nice and clean inside and out, and went and bought the parts for it. For this, we're using an Eagle crank, which is stock stroke, which is 3-inch. I'm running DSS pistons. It has scat rods. The pistons, of course, are forged. I'm a fan of Cleveite bearings. I just have used them forever. Even the piston rings were all DSS, and I sourced all of this, and we can talk about that later if you guys have questions about them. Got the block all ground deburred, cleaned up, sanded it, shot it in black, even though it should be gray. I wanted it to be black. Some of the things that you're going to need to assemble your engine, you're going to have good measuring devices. You're going to have to be able to validate some of the clearances here. So measuring your pistons and preparing them. I didn't have a rod vise, so I created this from some scrap I had. I probably don't even have 20 bucks in, or you can go spend 120 bucks for one, but it worked just perfect. You're going to need to be able to do bore measurements. You're going to have to do micrometer measurements. You're going to need special tools for this, guys. If you're not versed in these things, this would be where I would tell you, go find someone who can help you to get all your clearances right. That's going to be the longevity of your engine. Without that, it's not going to last. Here is something I've never seen before. I purchased this cam from Comp Cams, and if you look in the center, there should be threads there, but as you can see, this one has none. They did replace it for free. This is the cam that I chose. It has a lift of 512, and as you can see, it's a split duration at 212 and 218 with a lobe separation of 114. What this does is it puts your RPM ranges in like 1500 to 5500, and this thing has truck-like torque, even though it doesn't spin super fast. Me personally, I like to install my own cam bearings. I use Durabonds for these. I like the self-healing methods that they have with some of the materials of how they're laminated there. This tool is about 169 bucks, pays for itself if you build a couple of engines. And then from there, you get into more precise measurements. Guys, you don't have to use a degree wheel to degree your cam. You can just put it in straight up. I'm running a double roller from Comp. But for me personally, I just like to know all of these things. When it came to cylinder heads, I procured these from Promax. These are Promax 175 Series 1. They have 60cc chambers, of course, 20216 valves in it, dual valve springs. You can do up to 0.600 lift on these. Guys, I paid $1,000 for these. These things are awesome. I would tell anyone who's trying to get into entry-level heads, you can go out and find GT40s, or you could put a set of these together for about the same price. They're going to flow better. They're lighter. They're going to do everything. I disassemble it to look at it. The manganese, bronze, guys, everything in these heads were just beautiful. And I use the half lift method to determine push rod length. So these came with, of course, guide plates and 3/8 studs. Uh, Basically, what I'm doing is here, you can look this up on the internet, find out what the half lift method is to determine. And then I double checked it by using a push rod checker. So we knew we were right on for the length of the push rod, then, of course, the amount that you're going to preload. I personally like Joe Gibbs' uh, driven racing oil. This is the oil that I used to break the engine in before I assembled it. I primed it on the stand, took a look at it, made sure everything oiled before I even finished putting the intake together. Rolled it over while I was oiling it, and of course, this is what happens. This is why they tell you to drill and tap your oil galley plugs. This is a bad day, guys, if it happens when your engine's running. So write it 100 million times, like you can see here from a class that I used to teach. If you do it right, it'll be right. But if you don't do it right, Rodney's gonna come knocking, and this is what you don't want. So take the time to do everything. Slow down. Make sure that all your clearances are right and that you don't cut any corners. Bought these headers from late model restoration, guys. I got them for 129 bucks. I tell you, one of the best 129 bucks I ever spent. They're beautiful. The flanges are thick. They don't leak. They're stainless steel. They're in the car right now, and they've through heat have changed to some beautiful blues and browns. This is the little brute sitting on the engine stand. We're just about ready to put it in. All the accessories are on the other engine, and I was still running it in the car. The car still ran, and I built this engine while running the other engine in the car. And so this is the morning. I'm ready to start putting everything in. Of course, I bought this EFI lift plate. Another great purchase, guys. I'm running an AccuFab 70 millimeter throttle body with a new TPS, and all the sensors are new in it. I'm still running stock, injectors. One of the reasons that I wanted to go this route is, the A9L computer is a D student when it comes to engine management, so it worked for me. Got everything all prepped. This is the original 5.0 engine about to come out of the car, and swung it all out and took off the accessories off the front here. Of course, I needed my water pump and things like that I wanted to transfer over. I didn't buy new ones for this piece, but pretty much everything else was. And there's the 306 all at home in its new home and prepared to go out and make some noise. So I ran it for 20 minutes, changed out the brake-in oil, put in new break-in oil, and took it out and drove it for 200 miles, brought it in. This is its checkup. Pulled the intake, went, re-looked at all of the valves, cut the oil filter open, did all those things that you would to make sure that a good fresh engine is coming together and that everything's made it. Here is the now Summit Soldier that I've got sitting in the corner, but we're going to build that, and you guys are going to watch and tag along with me as I do that. It's on the engine stand in my garage now, and I'm finishing up a couple of things that I have in there now, and we'll be prepared to get into building this, and I'm going to bring you along. This was the final product. This is me at a car show. One that I'd never really entered. The guys just said, "Hey, put a sticker in the window." And when I left that day, I had the trophy for the best modern build. So I'll tell you guys, it's been a labor of love putting this all together. What I would tell anyone who's out there who's looking for a build, Foxbody is a great way to start. Get out there and build something.